Today we're taking a look at these college basketball matches, which are happening on Wednesday, March 8, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos, and make sure to watch it till the end so you don't miss any of our picks. Also check out our Patreon if you want access our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link in description and comments section below. One more thing before we start, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link in the description and comments section below. In 2 games this season, the Hawks have shown the ability to slow down George Washington's high-octane offense. Despite being first in the A10 in field goal percentage, GW has shot under 40% from the floor in 2 of the 4 halves they've played St. Joseph's. Neither team holds a significant advantage on the glass, but the Hawks have shown the ability to score inside off of George Washington this season. The Colonials haven't had any answers for Greer, and he's coming off of a 22-point 10 rebounds and 7 assist performance in round 1. The Hawks will win the rubber match of the series with shot-making and timely defense to advance to the quarterfinals. Take St. Joe's. To build off of what I mentioned above, as well as dive into why I'm taking the over, this St. Joseph's team has some ballers. You'll notice that each of the teams plays at a very high pace, as the Hawks are 68th in tempo, 69.8 points per 100 possessions, while the Colonials are 92nd, 69.4. Well, as a technical underdog I think this dominant trio of Eric Reynolds 2, 19.4 ppg, Cameron Brown, 13.3 ppg, and Lynn Greer 2, 12.3 ppg, have the ability to keep up with this George Washington club. To round this out, we also see that neither team is particularly great on defense, especially the Colonials. They're just 314th in adjusted defensive efficiency, allowing 112.4 points per 100 possessions. On the flip side, the Hawks are 207th, giving up 107.1 points per 100 possessions. With each team boasting some scoring depth and high paces, I think we're in for a barn burner on Wednesday evening. Our total pick is over 156.5 points. DePaul vs Seton Hall. DePaul has played Seton Hall well this season, losing twice, but covering once, while the other game was a push. But the last time they played was about a month ago, and the Blue Demons have spiraled since then. Seton Hall likely won't be dancing unless they run the table here in the Big East tournament. But they gained some momentum after an impressive win at Providence, and they are playing a DePaul team that is just playing terrible right now, losers of 12 straight. Seton Hall is a hop, skip and a jump from MSG, so this game is right in their backyard. Seton Hall should win this easy and cover. Take Seton Hall here to cover. Both defenses are doing enough to limit the amount of open shots against them, as Seton Hall is 48th in the country with a 41.7 opposing field goal percentage, while DePaul is 255th in college basketball with a 45.3 field goal percentage against. These offenses are not scoring too much as of late, with the Blue Demons averaging 67.8 points in their last 5 games, while the Pirates are scoring 67.3 points in their previous 4 games. Go with the under to hit in this game as it seems to be the best option here. Our total pick is under 138.5 points. California vs Washington State. Cal has been awful all season, as their 3-28 mark would attest to, but injuries have made things even tougher for them. The Golden Bears have struggled when it comes to putting games in the win column as they find ways to blow leads, as we saw against Oregon State in the finale Saturday. Cal has lost 2 of their top 3 scoring options, leaving them shorthanded on a team that is dead last in Division I when it comes to scoring offense this season. Meanwhile, Washington State comes in winners of 6 straight games, and they have owned Cal in the last few seasons. There's little reason to expect things to be different here. Look for Washington State to advance to the quarterfinals by winning this one convincingly. Our team pick is Washington State minus 14 points. The worst scoring offense in the country will always have you leaning a certain way. Let's take some things into account before rushing to a decision. First, these two have combined to average 128.8 points per game over their last 5 games apiece. Their combined season average is a few points lower at 126.6 points per game. But then you look at the prior 2 matchups between the two and you see some very low-sided affairs. Combined they average just 118.5 points per game, with Cal unable to put up more than 55 points in either. These teams are also not considered high tempo, as KenPom's ratings have Cal at 343rd and Washington State at 330th. The under is 3-1-1 in the last 5 meetings between the schools. Take the under 125 points. UTEP vs Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky played UTEP twice during the month of February, and the Hilltoppers were 2-0 both straight up and against the spread. In 2 games with almost identical scores, Western Kentucky defeated UTEP at home 74-69 and on the road 73-68, covering both as a home favorite and a road underdog. Western Kentucky uses a strong outside shooting game with 4 players attempting over 100 shots from three-point land, and as a team the Hilltoppers hit 36.5% of their long-range bombs. UTEP has failed to cover the spread in 4 of its last 6, as well as in 8 of its last 11. The Miners play a methodical offense but struggle from long range, sinking only 29.2% of their three-point attempts, which is over 7% lower than Western Kentucky. Our team pick is Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. When diving into the pace of play in their last 3 games before this matchup, the Miners are averaging 69.1 possessions per game, while the Hilltoppers are sitting at just 65.4 possessions per game in that same stretch of games. These offenses lately are not scoring the ball too well either, as UTEP is scoring 64.7 points in their last 3 games, while Western Kentucky is averaging 58 points in their previous 4 games. Go with the under to hit in this game, as bad offenses and slow pace of play do not typically equate to too many points. Our total pick is under 133.5. Ohio State vs Wisconsin. Ohio State has been one of the worst teams to bet on this season, and now they have lost their best post player for the season. This is not the time to think they will get hot. Ohio State has only covered 35.5% of their games this season. This is in the bottom 20 of all of Division I, and Zed Key will be out for the rest of the season. Wisconsin may not have a star player, but they have 4 really good players in Hepburn, Esijan, Wall, and Crowell. Wall and Crowell will be the difference makers here, as Ohio State no longer has high-quality bigs to defend at the rim. This game is a difference of styles, as OSU is better on offense and Wisconsin is much better on defense. I will trust the defense to get it done on the opening day of the conference tournament, as Wisconsin will move on. Take Wisconsin to cover. Not only does Wisconsin play great defense, they slow games down too. Their offense is predicated on running the shot clock and take shots with very few time left. For Ohio State, their offense just struggles to score at times, and with them going against a solid defense, their buckets will be scored at a premium. The under is 7-1 in the Badgers' last 8 neutral site games. The under is 4-1 in the Badgers' last 5 games following an against the spread loss. Take the under 131.5 points on Wednesday. Wyoming vs New Mexico. The Cowboys have lost 4 of their last 5 games and 8 of their last 9 road games. They aren't very good offensively, and they play worse on the road where they are scoring less than 65 points per game. They've struggled at the charity stripe, making less than 70% of their free throws. Their ball movement isn't very good on the road, and they don't rebound the ball as well, so don't expect them to get a lot of second chance opportunities against the Lobos. They were also careless with the ball in their last 3 games, which will lead to easy scoring opportunities for the Lobos, who average more than 6 steals per game. Even though the Lobos are giving up more than 75 points per game on the road, they won't have trouble slowing down the cold shooting Cowboys in this game. The Lobos have lost 3 of their last 5 games. Despite their slump, they continue to play well offensively, scoring 83 points per game in their last 3 games. They've done a good job at the free throw line, making over 77% of their free throws in their last 3 games. They rebound the ball well and they're aggressive on the offensive glass, which will give them more scoring chances. They also do a good job protecting the ball and won't give the Cowboys a lot of easy scoring opportunities. The Cowboys aren't very good defensively, and they played worse in recent games, giving up 74 points per game in their last 3 games, so expect them to have a hard time slowing down the Lobos. Go with New Mexico to cover the spread. Our team pick is New Mexico Lobos -7 points. The Cowboys followed up their win over Nevada with a loss to the Aztecs in their last game. They will try to bounce back from the loss with a win over the Lobos, which will give them their second win in their last 3 games. Wyoming is averaging 67.8 points per game. They scored 50 points in their last game, making 34% of their field goals and 38.1% of their 3-pointers. Our total pick is under. Ole Miss vs South Carolina. These two teams have combined for just 7 wins in the SEC this season and split the season series. The edge in this game goes to Ole Miss because of the team's play on the defensive end. Ole Miss is 6th in the conference in scoring defense and 5th in the opposing team's field goal percentage. Ole Miss is 3-1 at TS in the last 4, including a win over Auburn as a 17-point underdog. South Carolina has lost 3 of its last 4 games and has the second worst defense in the SEC. Ole Miss has won 6 out of the last 10 meetings between the two teams and is 7-3 at TS in that time. I am banking on Ole Miss's ability to keep the struggling South Carolina offense under 40% from the field and pick up another win. Take Ole Miss -6 points. These teams have been struggling to score the basketball too well as of late, with Ole Miss scoring 71 points in their last 5 games, while South Carolina is averaging 58 points in their previous 3 games. These programs also play at a more methodical pace throughout the entire season, as the Rebels are 225th in the country with 69.2 possessions per game, while the Gamecocks are 300th in the nation with 67.6 possessions per game. Go with the under to hit in this game as it seems to be the best option here. Our total pick is under 134.5 points. Texas Tech vs West Virginia. The Mountaineers are my pick to win and cover Wednesday. They couldn't win both matchups in the regular season, but I believe they are the better team and will prove it in the third meeting. West Virginia dominated on the boards in the first game and will have its way with Texas Tech in that department again, putting extra stress on the TTU defense. The Red Raiders aren't as cohesive of a unit as the Mountaineers, which will be evident late in the game when WVU pulls away. Texas Tech will look off its game without its head coach, and West Virginia won't hesitate to go in for the kill, with an NCAA tournament berth still in the cards. Our team pick is Mountaineers -2.5 points. The total has finished over in 9 of West Virginia's last 11 games, and in 5 of the last 7 games that West Virginia has played head-to-head against Texas Tech. The total finished over in the most recent head-to-head game between these two Big 12 rivals played on February 18th. The total has finished over in 4 of Texas Tech's last 5 games. West Virginia's offense generates 76.3 points per game, and Texas Tech is no slouch on offense, scoring an average of 73.9 points per game. Our total pick is over the total.